Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something you've seen a million times, but maybe never really thought about. It's a kind of secret language, a visual toolkit that authors use to make really complex ideas simple.
Okay, so think about a hurricane. Really think about it. It's a storm so huge you can see it from space. It's got winds that can literally change the shape of a coastline. How in the world do you even begin to explain that? Well, that's exactly the challenge we're diving into. So how do you take this absolute force of nature and break it down into something that makes sense to all of us? It's a huge task, but guess what? There's actually a method to the madness.
Yeah, it turns out that people who create informational text, the really good ones, rely on this secret toolkit. It's like a visual language that's specifically designed to chop up these massive ideas into pieces we can actually understand.
And this visual language, it's not just a bunch of random pictures. Nope, it's a very specific set of tools. They're called graphic features. And today, you and we're going to decode them. So what are they officially? Well, the key thing to get here is that these are not just pretty decorations. Graphic features are intentional. They're visual organizers put there for one reason: to make complicated stuff simpler and to pack in extra details without totally overwhelming you. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like this. They're a roadmap for your brain, right? They show you exactly where to look, they highlight what's important, and they help you see how all the different little pieces connect to form the big picture.
All right, enough theory. Let's see this stuff in action. We're going to take apart an explainer about hurricanes and see exactly how this visual language turns a totally chaotic storm into a lesson that's actually, structured and clear.
First tool out of the box is the diagram. The diagram's whole job is to show you a process, the guts of how something works. It's all about answering that big question: how does this thing actually happen? See, a really great diagram doesn't just tell you a storm forms, it shows you. It uses things like red arrows to let you follow the path of warm air as it gets sucked in, rises up, and condenses. You're not just reading words on a page, you're actually watching the engine of the storm kick into gear. And this is where diagrams get really cool. They can also act like an X-ray, right? They take you inside the storm to show you its structure, revealing that weirdly, famously calm eye that's sitting right in the middle of all that chaos. Okay, next up in our toolkit, the photograph. So if a diagram shows you how it works, a photograph shows you what it is. It's the reality check. It provides proof, it gives you a sense of scale, and it hits you with a powerful dose of what's real. So, for our hurricane, we're talking about those absolutely mind-blowing satellite images that just capture the sheer size of the storm from space. But it also means seeing pictures of the actual tools, the barometers, the anemometers, that scientists are using on the ground to measure its power. It connects the abstract idea to the real, tangible world. All right, so we've got the how and the what, but what about the where? Where does all this happen? For that, we need our third tool, the map. Its whole purpose about location, geography, and seeing how things relate in space. And that's the next logical question, isn't it? Do hurricanes just pop up anywhere, or are there specific hotspots on the planet where they're born? Well, a map is the absolute perfect tool to answer that. And boom, a good global map lays it all out for you. It pinpoints the exact spots in the ocean where these storms get started. And it also clarifies that what we call a hurricane here, they call a typhoon or a cyclone in other parts of the world. All of a sudden, you see this amazing global pattern just emerge from the noise. So what do you do when you have a whole bunch of different facts and data points? Well, that's where our final big tool comes in, the chart. A chart's job is to bring order to the chaos and make complicated data super easy to compare and digest. For instance, remember those weather instruments we saw in the photos? Instead of burying the information in a long paragraph, a chart just lays it out. Barometer measures air pressure. Anemometer measures wind speed. It's clean, it's efficient, and it makes that information so easy to find and remember. Okay, we've gone through our main tools, but there's one more piece. It's small, it's often overlooked, but honestly, it might just be the most important part of the whole shebang. I'm talking about the caption. Captions are the glue that holds everything together. That diagram showing how the storm forms, the caption is what labels the arrows and tells you what you're looking at. That photo of a weird-looking instrument, the caption tells you its name. Without captions, visuals are just confusing pictures. With them, they become incredible teaching tools. So, let's zoom out for a second. We've taken apart this hurricane explainer, we've looked at all the pieces, but what's the big idea here? What's the takeaway for us? Here's why this all matters. This isn't just about reading a science book. When you learn how to spot and really read these graphic features, you go from being a passive reader to a really active, effective learner. And even better, it's a toolkit you can use yourself to explain your own complex ideas.
So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on. Think about your own life, your job, your schoolwork, maybe a hobby you're passionate about. What's that one complex idea you really care about that's just one perfect diagram, one simple chart, or one powerful map away from finally clicking for everyone?